Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited about today's video because I'm going to be attempting to make pants. I found this pattern on Etsy and it doesn't have directions, so I'm really kind of winging it. But I'm very excited to jump into it and see how it goes. I'm following a couple of other videos that I found on YouTube, and I think I kind of have like the gist of it. So hopefully it turns out well and we will see. Alright, so I have all of my pieces cut out, my pattern pieces. I have a front, and then I have backs, and I have my pockets. I was a little confused at first as to why there were two, but this is the front piece of the pocket because there's going to be a little bit of an opening in the pants. So I have a front piece and the back piece. Then these are for the back of the pants, for the faux pockets. And then this is the fly facing. Then I have the left side, or the right side of the front of the waistband, the back waistband, and the right side of the front waistband. Kind of a lot. And so there are no instructions for this pattern, but I'm going to go off of a couple of YouTube tutorials that I've seen. And there's just one from Simplicity. I think it's a Mimi G collab, and it's a pretty basic trouser like this is. So I think the steps are going to be the same. So I'm going to follow that. I'm going to watch that video again and then come back for the first step, which I don't know. So we'll figure it out. I think I'm going to write down like all of the steps so I can have something to reference. And then I will come back with the game plan and we can get started. So I am going to start these pants at the zipper. Like I said in my intro, this pattern does not come with instructions, so I've been watching some different videos on YouTube, and I think I have a good method to sew these pants. So first I'm start at the zipper, and I found this really great video showing step-by-step how to do it. And so I've actually sewn these once already in a larger size, and they were way too big. So I recut out my pattern and then trimmed my fabric. So that's why these pieces aren't the same length, but it'll be fine. It'll work, I hope. So the first thing we're gonna do is, now my pattern came with, it has a little notch marked on the pattern itself, so I just marked that on both pieces. So these are both of the front pieces, and they should both be this length. I figured that out in the first run. So I had cut one shorter, but when I trimmed the fabric, I was able to make it a little bit longer, so it'll work. So the first thing we're gonna do is draw kind of a line. That'll be our center front. And I just matched it up with the innermost point of this, like the crotch curve. So I drew a line with my invisible ink marker, and then I have I think this is a 7-inch zipper. I just kind of measured it, and you want to line it up with the end of the zipper, so this little metal notch or metal piece. So I just kind of marked that, and it happened to just line up with that notch that we already had on there, so I'm just going to do that. So the first step is to sew from the crotch. If you can see that. There we go. From this crotch point, we're going to sew around here, and then just straight up to this, this marking. So we're going to stitch along our crotch, and then when we get to this mark right here, we're going to baste all the way up the rest of the zipper or the fly. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and we'll start on the zipper, and I'll show you kind of what the steps are. Okay, I'm back. So I pressed this seam open, and my pants are kind of like upside down. So this is the waistband. So this is the left side of the pants, and this is the right side. Yeah, I hope this works. So the first step is to flip your zipper over. So this is the teeth side up. So we're doing teeth side down, and we're going to kind of move all the pieces over to the, when you're looking at it, to the left. So we have both pant pieces and the facing piece. So we're gonna make sure, we're gonna place the teeth down, and we want the teeth to be just to the right of that basting stitch. So you can see, that's our basting stitch. We want the teeth to lay just to the right of it. And she explained in the video, this fabric will kind of stop the teeth from moving over anyway. So that's what we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and stitch this, and then what we're gonna do after that is flip it over and do a top stitch. Okay, so the next step is to attach the zipper on the other side of the fly. So we're going to flip it over like that, and then since we only want to attach it to this fly piece, we will flip all the layers over to the other side like we did when we were attaching the first side of the zipper. So I'm gonna go to my sewing machine and make sure that I just stitch the zipper tape to the right side now of the fly, because it'll be the right side of our pants when we flip it back out. So I'm gonna do that, and then after we do that, the final step is to do a top stitch on this right side of the pants. So going down like on the side, kind of like the stitch you see in pants on the outside, just to attach this fly piece to the front side of the pants. It'll make more sense later. But I'm gonna go ahead and attach this side of the zipper, and then I'm gonna do my my top stitching, I guess is what it's called, on the front of the pants here on this right side. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back from sewing on the other side of my zipper, which is this side. It got a little bit, so this right side is, I think, the side that's supposed to be covering the zipper teeth, and it was fine down here, but kind of got away from me up at the top. But that's okay, this is just a practice round. And I'm gonna go back and make sure I follow these steps correctly, because it looks like the left side could also cover it. But anyway, doesn't matter. I went ahead and did my top stitching on the side. You can't see it because the stitching is white. But now I'm gonna move on to the rest of my pants. I think now I'm gonna do the pockets. So the first step is attaching pocket to the front side of the pants, and you're only gonna do it on this straight edge right here, pant front and the pocket front. You see there's this top edge and there's this kind of slit that cuts into the hip. So it matches up with this edge on the pocket. So we're gonna just attach it at this piece, and then I'll be back. So I'm gonna do that for both sides. Okay, so we've got our pocket fronts attached, and what I did was I flipped the pocket over so it's now facing correctly, and I just pressed this seam. So this is going to be the opening on the front of our pants. So now what we're going to do is take our pocket back and just line it up on the edges around the curve. And what we're going to do is we're just going to stitch this pocket on the edge. So we're not going to stitch anywhere on here, just around this curve. I finished attaching my pockets, and I went ahead and basted this piece and at the top here so that they're all the pieces are staying together. So the next step is to attach the back pieces. So I'm going to start at the inside seam. So I have my right piece here. I'm just gonna lay it on top, right sides together. I have my dart back. So at the bottom of the pants, there's this little, or a couple notches, and this is where we're going to flip the pant leg up and create our bottom hem. So I'm gonna pin there to remind myself to stop sewing. All right, so I'm gonna go sew this side. All right, so just finished sewing and pressing my inside seam on the leg, and now I'm gonna pin and sew the outside seam. Okay, I'm gonna go sew this and press the seams open and do the other side, and then I'm probably gonna try it on, make sure it's fitting, and then we'll do the waistband. Actually, after the legs, I'll come back and we have to sew up the butt. So I'll be back. All right, both pant legs are complete. Now I just have to close up this back, the butt seam. All I have to do for this is just pin it like that and sew right up. Okay. This, let's see, go sew that and I'll be right back. I have pants. Okay, so here's the back. Kind of see. This is the crotch area, and then they're inside out. Front. Okay. I think they look pretty good. Kind of hard. See a little bit better. Alright, and this is just muslin, so they're not very structured at all. But pretty proud. I'm gonna go try them on and we can take a look at how they fit. Alright, so this is what the pants are looking like so far. I look kind of wonky because I have this fabric is super see-through, so I have some shorts on underneath. But overall, I think it fits pretty well. It's a little bit big still, but what I think I'm gonna do is re-sew the darts and make them a little bit tighter, and probably kind of trim off some of this fabric right here because it's kind of loose. So I think it's fine throughout the leg. Oh, it's a little bit long and the bottoms are a little bit baggy, so I'll have to kind of play around with that. But same on this side. This side seam is kind of baggy, but maybe I'll just start with the darts in the back, kind of see if that helps. Also these pockets, I don't know why this fabric is loose. I wonder if I can pull it up like that and like rebaste it. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's kind of where we're at. But I think, yeah, I'm kind of wondering what, so this is the size 8. Kind of wondering what the size 6 would have been, but I really don't feel like for a third time printing out and cutting out that fabric, that pattern. So I think I'm just gonna kind of just edit it from here. And I used a 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter seam allowance, so maybe I'll use a larger one, like a 5/8 if I redo like the side seams. Maybe that'll help. It's just kind of like baggy now, but it's not horrible. I'll probably shorten the legs, definitely will. But yeah, so here it is. We'll check back in a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the waistband, and kind of gonna go off what logically makes sense to do. So I have inner and outer fronts for these pieces on the sides of the zipper, and then one set of inner and outer back belt. So I think what I need to do is match up the inner and outer pieces, sew them together, and then sew the whole belt together, and then sew it on to my pants right sides together. Okay, so I have my waistband. Yeah, so I'm going to pin and sew to the pants. I don't even care if the side seams don't match because I'm kind of over this. Okay, here goes nothing. Okay, so these are the pants. Please ignore this waistband. I don't have a hook and eye for it, but I think they look pretty good. They feel pretty slim and fitting how I like. There's definitely some things that I'm gonna change on my pattern pieces. Like this side seam, I'm probably gonna bring up this way. I don't really know how I'm gonna do that yet, but I ended up in this pocket piece. I seam ripped the sides and just made the seam allowance larger. And so I think I'm gonna measure how much I added and then take that off of the pattern pieces. I'll probably take a little bit from the inside inseam too, just so it's not as like bunched on the sides. The waistband was pretty easy. The side seams don't, but this side seam lines up to where the seam should be, I think. And I think the reason why this is so far back is because I made the darts bigger. So I'll probably scratch that idea and keep the darts the same size and just adjust the sides of the pattern, so the outside and the inside. And yeah, but the waistband actually looks great. The zipper I think is backwards from what it should be, so I think I'm gonna watch that video and then just do like the opposite of what it does, because I think the steps are really helpful and make it easy. But yeah, this is it. Alright, hey guys, so I just want to go over kind of like grading, I guess, or editing my pattern that I had printed out for my pants after I made all the adjustments. So I kind of measured out how much total I took in on the side seams, and then I like evenly distributed it over both sides, both seams of the pants, the out seam and the inseam. So the marked out is what I'm going to cut off, and the green is my new seam allowance line, and the inner line is my new sewing line. So I'm still going to use a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, which is what the pattern came with originally. On the other side, you can see I've done the same. I ended up just taking this 3/8 of an inch seam allowance off and then just pushing it back for the whole inseam. And then I kind of, I just did the difference on this outer seam. So hopefully it'll work out. And I'm going to do the same thing for the front, but it's gonna be like the same thought process. So hopefully whenever I make an actual pair, not just a mock-up, this will work better. So yeah.